So the Supreme Court has rejected Jack Smith's request for justice to quickly hear Trump's immunity dispute. They just did this. This is breaking news. He is where is it? Where the fuck was I going to talk about? There's also from Madison, Wisconsin. Wisconsin Supreme Court has overturned the Wisconsin Supreme Court. What? Your days are numbered as soon as people see Viville on Hike Talk? What the hell is... What are you saying? Wisconsin's new woke Supreme Court doing the damn thing. Overturning Republican-drawn legislative maps, orders new ones in big win for the Democrats. And SCOTUS knows it will end up for them anyways. What was the reason? Well, let's see what they are saying about it on CNN. Okay, they're talking about Gaza. What about MSNBC? An ad? No, not for Wisconsin. I'm talking about the Supreme Court decision. The United States Supreme Court decision.
I can't speak for why Jack Smith refuses to state that he wants to get this in before the election, although that's quite clearly the case. I think any fair-minded observer understands that's exactly why he's pushing so hard. But he refuses to say it because it would be contrary to DOJ policy to say, I'm taking actions with the election in mind. And Brianna, this was the weakness in Jack Smith's briefing. He said over and over, yes, this is a very momentous, important case. Of course it is. But that's not the question when it comes to whether it needs to be expedited. When it comes to the question of whether it needs to be expedited, it's, is there a need for speed here? And because Jack Smith was unwilling or unable to say, I'm trying to get this in before the election, all he was able to give was a bunch of generalities. And apparently the court found that unpersuasive, and they've rejected his motion. And as Evan said, as a result now, this will go to the Court of Appeals and then perhaps to the Supreme Court, but it's absolutely going to cause delay.
We do begin with a new
both sides will still have the option of appealing an eventual ruling by the D.C. Court of Appeals up to the High Court, but the court's move is a major victory for Trump, whose strategy of delay in the criminal case included mounting a protracted fight over the immunity question. Which must be settled before his case goes to trial. An expedited review of the issue is already underway at the D.C. Circuit, which has scheduled oral arguments for January 9. The election subversion trial is currently set to begin in March. The real question is what happens then? Assuming the Court of Appeals rejects Trump's claim, will it keep the trial on hold pending further review for the Supreme Court, or will it allow the trial to go forward and force Trump to seek a stay from the Supreme Court? It's still possible that the trial begins on March 4th, but the Supreme Court's apparent willingness to let the D.C. Circuit go first makes it at least somewhat and perhaps significantly less likely. I feel like they don't want to do something that will come across super broad, I guess, and maybe they want to play a role in the delaying. And ultimately, this turns back into let the people decide whether or not he truly is or has done something illegal. Because if he has truly done something illegal, then the people would vote against him type of situation. You know what I mean?